gentlemen, straight from the ropes to your hands, welcome to VK Punk Wrestling, your one and only spot for recaps, news, and updates on professional wrestling in the world. And now, coming at you with all that attitude, here is your host, the bad guy, Vin C Punk.
Hey yo, Wrestling Savages, what's good? Buckle up, crank up the speakers to brain-rattling levels, and prepare to invade the war zone that is VK Punk Wrestling, the undisputed capital of unhinged, heart-pounding pro wrestling madness, and the soon-to-be-recognized champion of all things wrestling content. We're the ring general, your boy, the bad guy, Vin C Punk, leading this charge, hurling you through a no-holds-barred gauntlet of brutal slams, razor-sharp promos, and that raw electric rush that turns wrestling into the ultimate high-octane addiction. Tonight, we crash-landed at WWE SmackDown with our signature yay boo ratings, and this card was hotter than a botched fireball spot gone wrong. This isn't your average recap channel, guys. It's the pulsating core of the VK Punk Wrestling Rebellion, and you're locked into the front seat with us. If your pulse is racing like you just survived the last ride and kicked out at 2, then pound that like button, annihilate the subscribe button, and crank all notification bell icons so you never miss the fireworks. Craving even more chaos? Come hunt us down on X, Facebook, TikTok for all the raw clips, savage hot takes, and behind-the-curtain madnesses that you won't see here. That keeps your fire going. VK Punk Wrestling, we the ones. For wrestling content, now let's rip that lid off the absolute roller coaster that was Friday Night SmackDown, y'all. We get some little highlight reel from the Royal Rumble, little video package. Then the undisputed champion, Drew McIntyre, kind of makes his way to the ring, but barely. He kind of gets there, but gets jumped by Cody Rhodes from the back like a discount Batman, man. Drew bails into the crowd quicker than a heel-dodging pyro. Rhodes grabs a stick and goes full scorched earth, blaming McIntyre for torching his WrestleMania plans. He mocks watching Reigns and Punk build their Mania War as the ultimate measuring contest. Kind of says that it's a you-know-what measuring contest. Guess that's why they're thrilled that he's not involved, because he didn't get nicknamed Raheem by accident. The crowd kind of loses it. The pun hits rather largely. Rhodes insists that McIntyre wasn't mad about dropping the belt. He was mad that Cody had it. He swears Drew won't survive to see the Elimination Chamber, so this gets a boo. The Raheem line seemed to have really landed with the crowd. I guess it's funny, but chef's kiss to the trash can, man. It really flopped hard for me. I didn't like it. I thought it was a stupid line. He couldn't have done something worse. Rhodes' promos in these big moments always feel like he's trying too hard to be edgy. The whole segment kind of screamed forced drama rather than must-see TV. We're still not sold on Cody as the fiery Avenger. He comes off more like the guy who practices lines too much in the mirror too long. Entertaining in a train wreck kind of way, but we wanted fireworks and not sparklers. So next, right, we get the women's tag team match. You get some early chain wrestling, gives way to Julia demanding Sky step up. Sky answers the call, trading bombs like they owe each other money. Julia mocks Sky's signature taunt, but Sky flips out of a hip toss, sweeps the leg, and drops a basement drop kick that echoed pretty well. Julia slams her down, then distracts the ref so James can cheap shot Sky off the top rope. The heels isolate Sky with ruthless teamwork. Sky claws her way to the hot tag to Ripley. She storms in like a freight train with anger issues, clears house, plants Julia with the riptide, and Sky finishes with the over-the-salt moontop. The winner, and still your women's WWE Tag Team Champions, is Rio. So we can go ahead and give this one a yay. Tag Team Gold delivered the goods, fast, furious, and fun enough to make us forget about our Monday blues. Pinning Julia, the U.S. champ, raised an eyebrow, like really, but jobbing Kiana James would have been criminal. James has been quite cooking lately. Crisp moves, killer presence, and zero fear. She's out here stealing the show while most people sleep on her. Give this woman a singles push before she starts demanding one in real life. The match popped with great sequences, believable heat, classic tag formula executed to perfection. More like this division, man. This division, the women's division, is getting stacked, man. Okay, so next we get a United States champion well, it's not a championship match, but the United States champion Carmelo Hayes versus The Miz. Um, get a little bit of stupidness backstage with the GM and Hayes and The Miz, but in the match, Hayes opens with a springboard clothesline that says Miz crashing like he owed rent. Miz answers with veteran cheap shots and takes over for a while. They trade momentum until Miz blocks the first 48, sets up for the skull crash and finale that Hayes slips out of, rolls through, and nails the first 48 anyway for the W. So, yay for this. I know I didn't have much to say. There was really not much to say, but this was a pure clinic, and The Miz is a walking masterclass, and I don't care what none of you guys say. He is so underrated. Decades in, and he's still moving like he's 25, selling like a legend, and making Hayes look like the next big thing without even trying hard. Miz is the human equivalent of a cheat code, man. Consistent, reliable, and always elevates whoever's across from him. We're convinced he could carry a broom to a 5-star match, and he probably could. This bout had everything. Pace, counters, drama, and Miz's performance deserves its own Hall of Fame wing. Absolute banger, guys. Ooh. So next we get a women's 2026, easy for me to say, a 2026 qualifying match for the women's Elimination Chamber, Lash Legend versus Tiffany Stratton versus Chelsea Green. And let me tell you, I got a lot to say about this. So Green slaps both opponents to start, bold but kind of dumb. Legend and Stratton immediately unite to ragdoll her out of the ring like yesterday's trash. The two powerhouses slug it out, and Stratton hits a suicide dive and a standing moonsault that flattens Legend. Green sneaks in for a pin try and a dive of her own, but while she's posing, Legend levels her with a pump kick that catapults Green over the desk. The crowd erupts in laughter. After the break, Legend stacks Stratton on Green for a press slam. And then she splashes them both. Like, it was really weird. She counters a Rana into a buckle power bomb and hits a choke slam. Stratton kicks out. Green goes coast to coast with a drop kick. Really, really amazing stuff. Nia Jax yanks Green out, though, and won't let her win. Alba Fire confronts her and eats a shove. Legend gets hurled into the timekeeper's area. Stratton caps it with the prettiest moonsault ever on Green for the win. Tiffany Stratton is your winner, secures her a spot in the Women's 2026 Elimination Chamber. So, yay! But also, boo. This triple threat was chaos in the best way. Non-stop action that felt like someone hit fast forward on life. All three brought fire, but Chelsea Green, she carried the emotional weight like a pack mule on caffeine. Every time she was in the frame, we couldn't look away. Comedy, heart, hustle. She's criminally slept on. This woman should be main eventing, not eating pins to protect others. Stratton winning makes sense on paper, but Green deserved the spotlight here. Legend and Stratton flexed hard, but Green was the soul. Another underrated star loses moment here. Boo to the booking. Yay to the in-ring insanity. And if you have been sleeping on Chelsea Green, like the WWE has, what is wrong with you? This woman is putting on performance after performance, man, and she's doing it so well. I love Chelsea Green. Which is crazy because I didn't like her until she came to the main roster. I didn't like her in TNA. I liked her kind of in Lucha Underground, but I didn't like her in NXT. I did, however, her role up here on the main roster is proving to be amazing. So now we get Kit Wilson and his amazing theme song coming down to the ring. He cuts a promo calling the entire field of the Royal Rumble and the crowd toxic. Bold strategy. Obafemi's music hits, however, and we get the inevitable squash. Wilson's theme slaps, his gimmick weirdly charming, and we're rooting for him to get a real run. Missing Pretty Deadly leaves a hole. What happened if Elton returned? Does he keep the gimmick from this? The toxic masculinity gimmick? Like, what goes on with that? Either way, intriguing times ahead. And of course, Kit Wilson calls Femi toxic. Femi responds by slapping the taste out of his mouth, then launches him with a tossing powerbomb and finishes it with a sit-out fall from grace. Winner, Obafemi. So boo. Great squash match. Way to show that Obafemi has a lot of power, but to do it at the expense of Kit Wilson. Kit Wilson is somebody else, maybe not underrated, but he's over. He's like the crowd like his theme, and but Femi didn't really wrestle here. He committed a felony in plain sight. Wilson got turned into a human highlight reel for Femi's dominance reel. Entertaining in a wow, that was quick way, but we wanted at least a little fight back. Femi's a monster, no question about that. Someone get this man a title chase before he starts flexing on all the referees. Backstage, McIntyre gets in R-Truth's face while Truth chats with Damien. Priest tells Drew to beat it, that he's got enough problems already. He doesn't need more. McIntyre storms to the ring, only for Jacob Fatu to materialize like a horror movie villain and dismantle him. Where did he even come from? So, the next match is Shinsuke Nakamura versus Tama Tonga. I'd probably say this in the in like the grade in the wrap up, but I loved New Japan Pro Wrestling for a while. It was my favorite when all these guys were there. And to see Shinsuke Nakamura and Tama Tonga in a WWE ring together, I think there's something poetic about it all, especially with what happens. Okay, so in the beginning, Tonga really blitzes Nakamura with strikes. Nakamura answers with rope drop knee, good vibrations. MFT, weren't really out there, kind of distract, allowing Tonga to attack from behind with elbows. Nakamura's neck on the deck. Post break, Nakamura hits the landslide and winds up in the Kinshasa. More distractions. Tonga catches him with the cutthroat to the back of the head and then another for the pin. The winner is Tama Tonga, and I am giving this a yay. Like I said, this is a bunch of nostalgia overload for me. Seeing these New Japan killers tear it up in WWE felt like Christmas came early, and we just had Christmas. Tonga ran the show like a general, while Nakamura got enough time to hit his signature spots with flair and played all the greatest hits. The outcome was never in doubt, however. Tonga being built as a human buzzsaw, and we're here for it. His entrance, Tama Tonga's entrance, is the best in the game, hands down. I don't think anybody's got a better entrance than him. The music, the pyro, it's all good. More of this, please. Nakamura brought vibes, but Tonga brought violence. Perfect combo, man. So much good stuff to unwrap here about Tama Tonga. I'm glad that he didn't really come out with the whole MFTs. Also glad that he really carried the whole match, whooped up on Nakamura. I think that was the way to do it. I know in New Japan with Nakamura's popularity, stuff over there was crazy. But to see him come over here and for Tama Tonga to win, and I hope they really set Tama Tonga up for something great, man. I think he could really pull it off. Okay, so next we get the SmackDown general manager, Nick Aldis, in the ring. He introduces the 2026 Women's Royal Rumble winner, Liv Morgan, who, of course, is flanked by Raquel Rodriguez. Liv Morgan kind of crowns herself as the greatest Royal Rumble winner ever, hyping her looks, brains, and auras to a roaring approval. Right? She's deciding between Stephanie Vacour's women's world title or Jade Cargill's WWE women's title, but there's an elephant in the room. Rodriguez kind of grabs the microphone for her to spill tea before she was going to spill her own tea. But just then, Jade Cargill's music cuts her off. Cargill threatens to whoop Morgan if she's chosen. Instead, Jordynne Grace crashes the party, clowning Cargill's lack of defense and claiming she'd be the one facing Morgan at Mania. Morgan rants, Grace and Cargill hit her with the stereo, shut up, bitch. Really cool stuff. Aldis books the tag on spot. Jade Cargill and Jordynne Grace versus Liv Morgan and Raquel. So now, Cargill and Grace dominate early. Post-break, the Judgment Day isolate Grace. Cargill's accidentally boots Grace. Rodriguez accidentally boots Morgan. Chaos ensues. Cargill and Rodriguez stare down Grace who shoves Rodriguez into Cargill, knocking her out, and then the roll-up Rodriguez for 3. The winner, Jordan Grace and Jade Cargill. So, yay. In fact, very serviceable tag with built-in drama. Nothing revolutionary, but it moved the needle. Jade is still finding her promo voice. It's like watching a bodybuilder learn poetry. But Grace, she is a walking highlight reel, sharp, intense, and oozing star power. She just came out of the back, already talking on the mic. She's just so fluid and so amazing with it. Really love Jordan Grace. The accidental miscommunication added nice tension. Of course, they win to stir the pot. Classic. But keeping the belt on Cargill feels like stalling. She's barely around. Promos are rough. And despite the ring growth, she's not defending it like a champ should. I mean, she's had it. Has she even had one defense yet? I can't even remember if she had one. Give it to Grace. Let the Juggernaut, who'd actually make that title feel alive again, let her run and kill people for a while. Fun segment, but we're ready for the payoff already. Really waiting for next week because Jordan Grace, and if you don't know, I like Jordan Grace too. Man, she's good. So, backstage, Solo Sikoa is seen looking for the rest of the MFT. Then he heads to the ring holding the wine. Sick lantern, creepy, aesthetic, on point, but also by himself with none of the MFT. So the next we get an Elimination Chamber men's match, qualifier match. Aleister Black versus Solo Sikoa and Randy Orton. Trick Williams lurks alongside the ring. He just hangs out. Action spills outside early, and Black hits a triangle moonsault on Sikoa. Counters Orton's death suplex with the boot. Post-break, Orton goes ham with power slams and multiple death suplexes on both. The draping DDT, of course, the RKO tease. Black breaks it up, though. Sikoa hits a spinning solo. Black kicks out. Orton dodges Black Mass for an RKO. Black rolls out. Sikoa tries a Samoan spike, but Orton counters with another RKO. The winner, of course, Randy Orton. Yay. Yay for this. The main event delivered the goods, man. Big men, big moves, big pops. Trick at ringside doing nothing. That was all kind of weird. Why was he there? He didn't get involved. He didn't do anything. What was he doing? And secondly, as far as Trick goes, his lemon pepper stepper thing needs to be retired like yesterday. It's like a catchphrase that overstayed its welcome to the party, man. It's too much. It's stupid. He's got enough. Got enough catchphrases and cool ass lines that he doesn't need that stupid one. Solo looks strong, but isolated. Where's the MFT backup? Where were they? Black continues to shine, but can't catch a meaningful win. Frustrating for fans who remembers AEW dominance. Orton winning was the right call. The Vipers stole money in these spots. Death suplexes had us Winston. I mean, real great stuff for these guys. Overall, SmackDown gets a hearty yay. The show had some killer action, advancing stories, and just enough surprises to keep us hooked. The theme of beloved underdogs eat L after L was strong here. You gave all the underrated over with the crowd people losses. And Green, Wilson, Black all got robbed in their own way. But that's wrestling. You build sympathy for the eventual comeback. Great night of TV. Fast-paced fun and full of moments that had us yelling at the screen, man. All right, you absolute wrestling warriors. Listen up. You keep this VK Punk fire wrestling. Let's try that line again. You keep this VK Punk wrestling fire roaring week after week, and we're forever thankful for you guys for riding with us through every twist and turn. Before we drop the mic, however, let the arena lights dim. One final note. Wrestling does remind us that the hardest fights don't always happen between the ropes. Sometimes they're quiet battles inside our own head, from stars like Big E sharing their lowest moments to CM Punk speaking openly about stepping back for mental clarity and mental health. The entire industry starting real conversations about well-being. The message is clear. Even the toughest among us need backup, man. If the weight ever feels too heavy, if you're stuck in a corner with no tag partner, reach out. Talk to a friend. Find somebody to tag in. Call a hotline. Or remember, the VK Punk crew is always here for you and always in your corner. Asking for help is not a weakness. It's the ultimate show of strength. You keep your head up, keep swinging, and know you're never alone in this fight. We definitely have your back here. Now crank it louder than a Canadian destroyer. Drop your wildest Raw theories, dream WrestleMania cards, and hottest takes in the comments, and let's make this place louder than a hostile crowd after a screw job. Smash that subscribe button if you're not already riding with us. Bring your crew into the fold by sharing and follow on X, Facebook, and TikTok for all the uncensored heat. We're VK Punk Wrestling. We own the ring. We run the bingo. And we're going straight to the moon. I'm your host, the bad guy, Vin C Punk, your boy. And this is VK Punk Wrestling, where we the ones for wrestling content. Stay wild, stay unbreakable, chin up, tits out, and deuces oozes. Catch you next time.